Hey Jackals, today we'll take a look at the transitions, how you can take an existing transition, change it a little bit, or even make your own that you can apply between two video clips and also change the duration of it. Now let's get digital. To do this easily, open the effects library, go to the Fusion Transitions. I'll also put a clip here so that I can show you. If you have a basic one, which I think is cross dissolve, you can apply between two clips. I'll have to click like this because it has to trim it. Trim clips. So now it's applied between the two clips. And I still have some issue because I can't extend it, and now I can. Okay, so I leave it like that. Then what you'll want to do is to right click on it. In some transitions, you may not get this Open in Fusion page option at the start. You'll have to first transform the transition into a Fusion clip. So then you can go into the Fusion page. This is a basic cross dissolve node. Control E to show the group, and it's just a dissolve. As you can see, it's dissolve, and under the modifiers you have transition linear. And what it does is that it changes between the foreground and background throughout the whole clip. And I'll show how you do that in this example. The transition I've made is like this. That can also be increased. Now let's put it back to 24 frames and go into the edit page. Go into the Fusion page. Now in this case, the dissolve switches between the background and the foreground based on the expression. So I'll just copy this. I can remove the expression. You type in equals and we put the expression back. So what this expression does is it takes time. Time is the current frame, and it divides it by the last frame. So on the last frame, it becomes 1. And 0 at the beginning, because 0 divided by something is 0, and decimals in between. This expression makes it so that you can switch between the background and the foreground, and it doesn't matter how long the transition is. So by default you can go from 0 to 1, and with the decimals in between. You can also have an expression like this that checks if the current time, meaning the current frame, is less than half of last frame. You immediately change from foreground to background, which will be half. So if we connect these two media inputs and display it on the right, so the media one in is the foreground. As you can see, it's connected to the foreground, and at the start we display the foreground. And then at frame 12, this immediately changes, as can be also seen here. Now you could also change the expression up a bit if you wanted to, but you can also just switch the inputs. What's also cool about dissolve is that you have different operations. So you can use a gradient wipe, for example, and you then have to make a background right here, change the type to gradient, and you can use anything you like, or you can also use radial angle. This one is set to radial from middle out, and you connect it like so. And if we now display this one, nothing happens. Okay, and that's because I've turned off this option, and now it goes like this. So what you would normally want to do is to keyframe the in point, the out point, and you would have the animation. And let me just connect this to the media out, and it works just fine. But if we increase the duration, it doesn't work just fine. As you can see, it's not what you want. So let's put this back, open a Fusion page. So what you want to do is to remove any kind of keyframes that you have. So remove this one, and we will modify it with any curves. And under the modifiers, now I have some settings. The source will be transition, which is what we have. Usually easing is chosen, and quad. Now if we take a look at the transition, it looks like this, as it was before. And if we go back outside into the edit page and extend this, the transition works as expected. It's no longer. You can also adjust the scaling and the offset, but if you made the animation beforehand, you will want to leave these two settings alone. You can also change the time scale, which means how fast the animation will be completed. If you do this at 4 times, like that, the animation is now completed frame 6. So as you can see, adjusting the offset a tiny bit offsets the animation start. So this was just a dissolve node with two media inputs, one being this one and two being this one, and the media out being this one. But what you can also do is not use the dissolve and just use a merge. This is the same example as before, I just didn't show you the ellipses. So this ellipse is like that. It goes to frame 15 and it stops there. Let's display this one on the left side. So this ellipse is a border that goes from 0 to something, and then at this point it stops. And the second ellipse starts when the first one finishes, and this one goes from the outside to the in. Let's first take a look at this ellipse because it's easier to understand. This one is inverted and solid, with a little bit of a soft edge and a border inside of it. So what I did is I went to this frame 15, I keyframed it, and I keyframed the second last frame, not the last one. Went to the frame 15 because this is when my animation starts. I keyframed the width and the height, well, just one because you can do it like this, ellipse, type in equals, connect the height to the width, and you can now adjust the width, and the height also changes. So let's just do this example quickly. Little bit of a soft edge, like that. So let's say that we start outside, like this. We keyframe this. Then we go to frame 20. And we go all the way down. Just like that. And now what we will want to do is right click on the width or the height depending on which one you chose to animate. Go to insert and select keyframe stretcher. Now the modifier tab will be clickable, so open it, and here we will have some changes to do. This transition was from frame 0 to 23, so we'll do the source start and end 0 to 23, and we'll also stretch from 0 to 23. As you can see, now I have some extra keyframes, but if I finish the animation at frame 23, this would be my last animation point. And now the second ellipse is similar, it just has one more option to animate. So we also animate the width, and we animate the border width. So we start with the maximum, or at the minimum, and at this point we go pretty much to the maximum. We also right click and insert the keyframe stretcher, and in the modifier you can then double click to open one of them and make the adjustments. As you can see, the frames are the same, and also with the border width. I don't need to do any animation because I have the key stretcher inside, so if you go into the edit page and adjust the length, the animation length also changes. But what you can also do instead of inserting a keyframe stretcher, so these two ellipses don't have the modifiers, as you can see, and animation is basically the same. But what you can do is add a keyframe stretcher node and put it after the merge. As you can see, this keyframe stretcher node also has all of the settings, 0 to 23 and 0 to 23. And if we take a look in the edit page, this animation also works just the same. there's a lot that you can do when it comes to the transitions, but in the case of the polygons, just like the ellipse, if you invert and use the solids in one node, you may have some issues. That's why I also split the ellipses in 2 nodes. Now that you have this awesome preset, you'll want to save it so that you can use it anytime you want. So go back into the edit page, right click on the transition that you just edited. As you can see, this one was made from the drop water preset, but you can just name it how you like. You can now see it in the transitions, and if I type in the custom name, you can see it's under the users. I can now drag and drop it onto the timeline between 2 clips, and it plays like it should. All this clip is a little bit small, so I'll increase the size. And if you increase the duration, it works like you expect it to. But you might have to wait a little bit so it renders out. And then if you want to share this transition with other people, you select all of the nodes except for the media ins and the media out. Right click on a node, settings, save as, save it anywhere you like, and then just simply put it to the location that I'll link down below. And that's how you can make some custom transitions in DaVinci Resolve. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell notification icon so you don't miss my next video. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackal.